providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Caregiver Crossing. Thank you all so much for being here. If this is your first time to hear us, Caregiver Crossing is a show that's brought to you by our friends at Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here with you each week to talk about all things caregiving. I'm Terry Stacy, along with the founder of Joy's House, Tina Bina McIntosh.
Hello.
Noah Taylor is here. He produces the show.
Hey.
Hey, Noah. Thanks. He's got another good show for us today lined up. Also some music, because we want to begin with Hal Walker's music, because it really does capture an experience that I think is hard to explain. And so, Tina, listen, just I don't want you to be on your phone. Put that down.
I'm going to close my eyes.
Close your eyes and listen to this.
I'm in. Go ahead.
Think about that.
How would you define that?
I don't know how you define it.
Like
Noah, you found it. How do you define it?
dried bamboo shoots with
Yes.
a mouth hole?
Yes, I mean, the instrument is called a kin. It's spelled Khaen, and it is basically like a variation of a flute. But it is, I mean,
It's
to
playing
me,
it with their mouth?
yes,
Right.
yeah, playing it with your mouth, and I mean, it is just a beautiful sound. If
It
you've been
is.
on TikTok for a few years, or just love beautiful music, you might have heard Hal Walker on TikTok. He has an account on there, but unfortunately, he hasn't got to play the music he loves for a few years. He was recently, well, not recently, but he was diagnosed with a syndrome called chronic fatigue syndrome.
Chronic fatigue syndrome. Always tired.
Yes, but I mean, in the short sense, that's basically what it is. And I think the scary thing is that not a lot of people have heard about this.
No, because when you have chronic fatigue, that's usually a symptom of something else, not the thing.
Right? Not
That you're just always going to
Yeah,
be tired.
I
It's a symptom of some illness or
I thought people knew
worse.
about chronic fatigue. No?
there probably is people, but myself, I did not know.
You are not one of the people.
Yes.
no.
Yeah, I had a friend in high school that had chronic fatigue, and it changed her life. I mean, didn't go to things, involved in things, just was like foggy and out of sorts, I think a lot is a good
Well,
way to
that's
say it.
awful.
Think about how you feel when you're exhausted
Yeah.
and you're a little kooky, right?
So there's not a cure for that.
No, there's not. And I don't even know that there's anything to relieve the symptoms. I
Oh
don't
my
know
goodness.
I don't believe
that.
that
That's
there
a
is.
bummer, for him. I'm glad that at least we can use that as a spotlight, like that there are these diseases. Here's what amazes me. We are so quick to judge people all the time on everything. We're not supposed to judge, by the way, but we do it. And how do you know, people don't walk around with a shirt that says chronic fatigue,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
we
don't
just
think very many people even know about that. I really mean it. I bet you if you ask people, they would think that that was a symptom of something.
Or they think you're being funny. If
Or-
you
or
had it, if
funny.
there really was
Oh,
a
yeah,
T-shirt,
that-
I suffer
right.
from chronic fatigue. People would be like,
Yeah,
me too.
that's so silly.
Big night, And it's not.
No,
I mean,
it's a very serious long-term illness. That
If I may,
oh,
does it
Terry
come
has
on?
her
may.
hand up.
Please,
Yes,
is
Terry.
there a thank you? Is that something that can just occur, or is that something that you're born with?
That's a big question right there. I don't know the answer to that one.
I'm not sure either. He was diagnosed pretty late in life. So he had been really popular on TikTok for a few years before he received this diagnosis. And unfortunately, it does hinder his ability to play music. One of the things that he is known for, one of the things that he absolutely loves, and I'm sure, is very distraught that he can't do the one thing that he loves.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there has to be something to help you get through a day.
I really hope so. I think one of the things that is really scary about these different kinds of diseases is it is mostly invisible to other people. I mean, Hal is bedridden most days. He can't get up. He can't play the
Wow,
music he loves. It's probably hard to cook food. I imagine this has to be very painful here for his loved ones and whoever might be his caregiver as well.
Well, I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Well, I
don't
didn't
like
know it
either.
was that severe. Like you couldn't even get out of bed.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be. I don't think it's, everybody presents like that, but Yeah, I think you're going to have to tell us how we're doing on time. I lost my clock, by the way.
You're good. You still got, we're at 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's
Well,
talk
5:30. 5:30.
slower. Okay. No, I think that the point though you make is a good one in that there are so many things that you can't see. We all have scars. We all have some kind of a diagnosis or a disability. Most of us, you just can't see it on our face. Anybody want to share theirs?
My
Share
scar.
my invisibilities.
My invisibilities.
I got scars. Top to tail, I
Well,
got scars.
Again, it is just another example of there are things going on with people that we just don't know
It's a
or
true story.
understand or still don't understand, even in this day of technology.
Either of you want to share anything going on that we just can't understand or see?
No.
Oh,
But again, I'm really curious as we talk about AI is in a headline every day, how this is going to affect things like diagnosing and perhaps coming up with cures. The more advanced AI becomes, I seriously, in all that I don't like about it, I'm really hopeful that it will find things like a cure for Alzheimer's, a
it really
cure
is
for
pretty
this
incredible.
chronic fatigue thing, cancers. I think it's pretty amazing, and I think it's rolling so fast that perhaps that may be a light.
I
that it
use
could
my
help.
chat, my AI, Clara, a lot. My only problem is you can't trust everything, and she is designing herself to please me and
That's
make me
right.
happy. And so, I'm
Oh,
afraid
yeah.
to follow that when it comes to healthcare.
I mean, it really almost begs you
Yeah,
at the end of
she's not
asking
my
it a
therapist,
question, and
right?
then she's like, "Well, I can help you. What about this? I can go this way, or I can go this way. I can go deeper dive here. Do you want me to do this? Do you want me?" I'm like,
Yeah.
stop.
I do have a question. So we've got a little bit of time here left. Do either of you know any caregivers of somebody who one of their loved ones might be navigating a chronic illness? I'm curious, what do you think is the best way to help those caregivers?
Well, the chronic part is the hard part, right? When it's a burst of something, everybody shows up. But
Right.
when it lasts for years or decades, um, best way to help them. I think that it's some of the simple things, Noah. It's, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while, but I'm going to the grocery store. What can I pick you up? Or, offering to give some respite. Just let them know you're thinking of them. I think just stay consistent. Keep showing up.
Make sure that they know that you're there when they need you.
Yeah, I think
And that's
that's
just
probably
what
my
you
answer.
said, Tina. Just
Yeah,
checking in.
keep showing up. I don't know. Any advice from you?
That is a really good question. I do like the sentiment that you shared that really just being there for somebody is really the most important.
Keep seeing them.
Yeah.
Like keep literally seeing them. Keep knowing that like let them know that you see them for what they're doing because after a while you feel like nobody knows you're around anymore. All right. What you got? I got nothing.
That's time for us. You can find past episodes of the show at joycehouse.org and be sure to like and follow us on Facebook on Joyce House. If you'd like to connect with us to discuss show topics, need help connecting with resources, or have any kind of question that you need help with or would like us to answer on air, you can reach us at joycehouse.org. And thank you so much to Cardon and Associates.
Yeah, and stick around. Pure memory water. 3 words. Find out when we come back.
We'll be right back.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. I'm Tina McIntosh. Terry Stacy is here, but she is hiding in a corner. And Noah Taylor, producer, and we have in studio with us some very special guests, Shelly and Mark Rice. And if those names are familiar, it could be for a lot of reasons, one of which is probably pure memory water. And we're going to talk about what that is. I realize I just sounded it like it was a sales pitch, or I said it like it was a sales pitch. That's not what I meant. But although it could be because I'm drinking
I was going to say,
wine.
after you drink it, I think we're all going to be wanting to do sales pitches.
So, so here's the deal. They are an example of when personal caregiving drives us to action. And so we want to hear from them, Pure Memory Water. And we're going to dive right in, pun intended, this came out of a caregiving experience. So, hi, welcome to Caregiver Crossing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And tell us just briefly about the caregiving experience that led to this magnificent product that we're drinking.
Well, it certainly was a personal experience with my mom.
Okay.
I had never had an experience with Alzheimer's or with dementia with anybody close to my family until my mom was diagnosed. She was diagnosed as a baby. She was only 69 years old.
Oh.
And
Which
so
usually means it goes pretty fast, right?
you would think, and in our particular situation, it lasted almost 13 years.
Okay.
So it was a little bit of a goodbye every day. So in that process, it starts out gradual with, a few lost memories here, there, etc., and then ultimately progressed to being in a full-time care facility. But during that particular time, I would come home and taking care of my mom and be very tearful with Mark, my dear sweet husband, about we couldn't do that to our kids, and it was heartbreaking to watch my mom go through that as well, but that we needed to make some really serious life changes to kind of turn our health around and do anything preventative that we could to avoid that same situation. So after a lot of intense research, Mark discovered rosemary was amazing for your brain, and so went about creating this drink in our kitchen here in Indianapolis.
Okay, so hold on. Because a lot of people are caring for somebody they love or have some kind of a life-altering moment, and they don't create something in their kitchen. I mean, I've been through a lot of life-altering things.
Sure.
I haven't created anything. Have you, Terry?
Not
From the
things I
corner,
can
Terry
talk
from the
about.
corner.
Nothing I can really talk about.
Okay, good. So what? And what was it? Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing about your mom.
Thank you.
But what was it, Mark, that you were like, I will create a water?
After a lot of research, I found out that rosemary had 3 compounds in it that are very good for your brain. And there's different places in the world that they use rosemary, and the people function cognitively in their upper 90s, even after 100. So I wanted to find out why. And after doing research, found out that rosemary is super great for your brain. So I thought, I got to find a way to be able to, use rosemary every day. And drinking seemed to be the way to do it. So I started infusing it in water, was growing it in our backyard. In the first 40, 50 batches, my dear sweet wife said tasted terrible.
True.
Like dirt from the backyard.
That's pretty close. That's pretty close. And in fact, I think the comment that I made was, Alzheimer's or not, I don't think I can consume this every day.
Sounds delicious.
Oh, yes.
Well, she said I finally got it right. So now from one flavor, which was lime, our very first one, now we have 3 flavors. And we have 4 others that will be coming out soon.
Ooh, very exciting.
Are you a mixologist? Are you a scientist? Are you...
Well,
Right.
I always wanted to have a laboratory.
Well, then, this is perfect.
It is. I had no formal education in mixology or anything like that, but it was pure, hey, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I think I would just describe it as pure passion, that I was feeling as a caregiver to my mom, I was feeling so broken on a daily basis that I think, like most people who have a partner that loves you, cares for you, they're just trying to do anything that they can to be able to help you through that journey. And I think that it was just Mark's way of trying to empower me to be able to continue on that journey, because it's just such a tough road. And so, yeah, that's he just kept at it. He said 40 or 50 different iterations of our water. I'm going to say it was probably closer to 100.
I was going to say, felt like 500.
Exactly. Because this was not something that was a very short journey. This was probably 3 or 4 years worth of every day, every other day, mixing and trying and so on. And
Were you like a mad scientist in there?
Oh, yeah.
yes.
I had these vats in the kitchen, and it got to the point she goes, either get it right or get it out of my kitchen.
All true.
Sounds like a married couple. I love
Absolutely.
And I think you've got it right. I am curious, why is the hydration part important? Like, if I just grew some rosemary of my own and started chewing it, are the effects different in a bottle of water?
A lot different. A, 70 to 80% of Americans are dehydrated and don't even realize it. And the first thing that happens when you're dehydrated is your brain shrinks. But more importantly, your body goes through a brain rinse when you go to sleep at night, comes up through your spine, rinses the toxins out of your brain. So if you go to sleep and you're dehydrated, you're basically getting a muddy rinse. Neurons start getting coated and you have brain fog. You might forget where you left your keys, or just forgot to turn left when you should have turned right. A lot of that is from dehydration. So we felt like it's very important to have the electrolytes, have the rosemary, the B12 all included in the water. Those are all key elements that are great for your brain.
And they say in the morning, you should also keep some water next to your bed, drink it to jumpstart your system in the morning. And
Absolutely.
So, and this is okay, right, to leave out? We're drinking it cold right now in studio. It's wonderful, but it would be just as good.
For overnight, absolutely. If for a long term, 3-4 days, you should put it back in the refrigerator.
Okay. You are hearing the voices of Shelly and Mark Rice, who are the creators and owners of Pure Memory Water. And I want to give just a couple of tips before we have to take a break here in a moment. We often, when we're living with and loving someone with Alzheimer's, we can't get them to drink. It's hard. You mentioned the dehydration just kind of in normal life, right? But then you add in a dementia. And a couple of tips that I don't think I've shared here is, one, if you have 2 glasses, I'm holding one of your waters in my hand, and I hand one to Noah, who's living with dementia, and I say, will you hold this for me for a second? He will take it most of the time out of kindness, right? If I say, here, will you drink some water? Sometimes he just won't do that. But here, will you hold this for me? And then when he takes it in his hands, I lift my glass and I say, cheers. And we
Cheers.
ding. And then because we're conditioned in our long-term memory and in our culture to be kind, and when we cheers, we take a drink.
Go right for the sip.
Right?
I
And
love
then
that.
Bottoms up,
Yep.
buddy. Oh, look, he's opening it
I'm
right
opening
now.
it. I have had the pleasure of trying this before, and I do have to say the lime is my favorite.
Oh.
I think you've come a long way from the first 50 batches.
Well, we're going to have to take a break here in just a moment, but where can people buy Pure Memory Water?
So we're super excited. We're available in all of the Indiana Fresh Time grocery stores.
That's where I've seen you.
Yes.
Like where I've seen the bottle. I
Mhm.
knew I'd seen it. So in all the Fresh Times.
We're also available at Sullivan Hardware.
Okay.
They've been very kind to us, and they do very well with our water and promoting it. Also at Georgetown Market, Indy Fresh Market, and we're also available now in the Illinois Street Food Emporium,
Fantastic.
Brickhouse Coffee at Geist. So in Sabito's downtown, if anyone's familiar with their amazing soups and so on. So we have quite a bit of following. You also can purchase directly from our website at purememorywater.com.
purememorywater.com. Okay, we're going to have to remember that. So Shelly and Mark Rice, they're going to stick around here in the next segment, and we are going to take a break. We'll be back here in just a moment on Caregiver Crossing. We're back on Caregiver Crossing. Tina McIntosh, Terry Stacy is in studio, Noah Taylor, and we've got Shelly and Mark Rice with Pure Memory Water with us. And we've all been hydrating during the break, which is good because do you know that the brain is nearly 75% water and very sensitive to dehydration? And Shelly, you were saying during the break that there is something called the blunt thirst sensation. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, so this is a recent study within the last few years, and it actually studied that patients over the age of 50, that every decade over the age of 50, that your body, your brain really stops even communicating to your body that you need to be able to drink more water and be more hydrated. So that's why, as you see older people, I hear that constantly when I talk to other caregivers and friends and so on, that, oh, my older grandparent or my older parent, they just refuse to drink water. And I think that there's a physiological reason behind that. And that's actually a recent study, which makes a lot of sense because you hear that continually across the board. So, and the first thing, of course, that happens when you're dehydrated, that's when you start to have more and more cognitive function issues. But it also goes beyond that with, the shrinkage of the brain and so on. And so when that goes on perpetually and being dehydrated, that certainly can cause even greater cognitive function issues. And so as the child of an Alzheimer's patient, I'm terribly concerned about hydrating on a regular basis. Hence the reason having the electrolytes in our water. It's not just about the water itself, but having those good electrolytes to help replenish all the things that you're losing on a regular basis.
Well, and the B12 and all that.
Yes.
Like I'm interested to kind of do a little experiment with myself, and buy some and drink it for a week on a steady. How many do you recommend a day, by the way?
We usually suggest drinking one a day. They're 16 ounces
Okay.
each. The beauty is that there's no reason why you can't drink one or more if that's what your body needs on that particular day. So
Shelly
I know,
does.
yeah, I typically do. I usually will drink at least 1.5.
And you've got great skin.
Oh,
I
well,
mean, I
thank
know
you.
that's not I know that's not the main reason that it's like drink the water, but it does show up. I mean,
Sure.
I notice it like washing my hands and seeing myself in the mirror, and I see that what's it called? The fancy word for your chest?
Décolleté.
Whatever Terry said.
Décolleté.
That one. Like I have the little wrinkles, or I can see it in my face. My lips get dry.
Right.
But there is something in drinking. I've had maybe a fourth of the bottle already, and I'm almost craving more of it. Is that a thing?
I don't know if I would say it's completely craveable, but your body, when you're in tune with your body tells you what it needs. And
Yeah.
so I would say that, yeah, you were probably dehydrated when we walked in here. And so the reason you're craving it is because your body's finally getting what it needs. And so it's just wanting more of it. That's part of the beauty, too, of the rosemary going directly to your gut. It hits your bloodstream pretty quickly. I usually, I only know how it affects my body, but I typically will see a difference in like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. And so I think that's probably typical, kind of a midline for most people as to when it affects you. I also might say that because our rosemary is extremely pure, we don't have any other sort of carriers in it. That also hits your body pretty quickly as well. And so rosemary also is notorious not only in helping with brain health, but also with gut health, and it's a great antioxidant.
Well, I was going to ask if it helps your bowels.
Yes.
I mean, that's an important thing. Nobody ever
Absolutely.
wants to talk about it. I love to talk about poop because it's important. But it is true. And I'm a big advocate for natural remedies in our lives and herbs. And, I also think there'll be a zombie apocalypse one day, so I'm a little cuckoo. But the herbs and the oils are so important in our lives. And we just as a society don't focus on that. So the fact that you really base it on the rosemary, it tells me a lot about your intelligence and your research and, your 50,000 batches you went through to get to this really great product. So, I mean, congratulations. I'm proud of you. I'm happy to know about it.
Yeah, thank you. It definitely was a passion project that morphed into a full-on business. After we were drinking this in our kitchen regularly, we just felt like we needed to share it with other people because there were so many people that were going through a similar journey to us, and that was just something that we were, compelled to do.
And
Yeah.
wondered how in the world we're going to do it.
well, and I think it's just incredible though, really. Like, again, I go back to if all of us had an action out of something that was a challenge, like it's kind of like you walk into a place and you leave it a little bit better than it was when you got there. You fluff the pillows, you straighten things, you pick up the trash, whatever. I feel like you're doing that in a different kind of way. You're leaving a mark in a really positive way. So I don't know.
In talking about this action, I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, but can I be honest about something?
No.
I'm scared. Dementia and Alzheimer's actually just surpassed cancer recently as one of the diagnoses that people are the most afraid of now. And I think what's really amazing about your story is that you turned this fear into action. And I don't know, maybe you could just touch a little bit on that, about how that came about.
Sure. Well, obviously, fear will make you go to action. And instead of actually being in fear, you need to do something to subdue that. And what we did is we decided we were going to come up with a product that not only would help us, help people going through it, caregivers. Um, the biggest thing that we found in doing this was along the journey, the people we met and the people we were able to help. And every step of the way seemed like, oh, it is just great. The feeling was great. So that was one of the things that kept us going. And, we talked about the rosemary. One of the things that I thought back on about the rosemary is I always heard, Shakespeare used to say, a whiff of rosemary helps you remember your lines. I'm sitting there going, gosh, there's something about rosemary.
Interesting.
So that being said, it's huge in supporting the brain, and not only that, but just the whole body. There's a lot of attributes to rosemary that help you, but also we have the B12, the minerals, the electrolytes. The hydration is one of the key elements. And you were talking about all of a sudden dementia, Alzheimer's is surpassing cancer. Well, I can see that happening because people today are drinking pop, they're drinking juice, coffee. Like, I'll ask people, say, have you had any water today? Goes, yeah, I had some coffee and some. Well, that's not water.
Not
That's
the
not
same.
Does
hydrated.
not
Yeah.
count.
So I think it's a key element. I think people are becoming aware of the fact that hydration is so important.
Well, we're really grateful. Now I feel bad, by the way, for saying no. Of course you can share something here. And I'm sorry you're scared. And I think it's scary for a lot of people.
Yeah, it really is.
And so we just need to keep doing things like bringing stories like this and products and services and things we can do in our lives to protect ourselves to the best of our abilities. And so we want to hear from you too. You can be the next Shelly and Mark Rice, and it might not be pure memory water because that's taken. But we hope that you take your fear and you turn it into action that will help other people too. So Shelly and Mark, wonderful. Cheers. Can we do a cheers with
Oh,
our
I would
pure
love to.
memory water right here in the middle?
Yay.
All right. Cheers. Oh, glass bottles, by the way.
Yep.
Glass bottles are important. All right, we're gonna have to go. Shelly, Mark, keep us posted. Let us know when you come out with the new flavors. Until then, I'll be at Fresh Time stocking up for a bottle a day. So glad you're here.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it
so much.
Thank you.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to share support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. To learn more about Joyce House, explore caregiver resources, and hear past episodes, visit joycehouse.org. All right, stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break.
We're back on Caregiver Crossing. Tina McIntosh, Terry Stacy,
Hi.
Noah Taylor.
Yep.
Hello.
And I'm going to kind of bring the tempo down just a minute, not to be super sad. That's not what I'm trying to do. But we do want to talk about there's a certain kind of a grief, and it comes with making the right decisions for someone that you love. And it often, that grief, often appears long after, before. Goodness, you guys, is it time to go home and go back to bed yet?
Not yet. Come on, you can do it.
That grief often appears long before a decision is made. And it's when caregivers start noticing these small changes that, after a while don't feel so small anymore. And so we want to talk about that today. Noah, you brought this to our attention. And so I'm going to ask you to kind of lead us here just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So this popped into my mind because I was at a conference over the weekend with the Alzheimer's Association at St. Elizabeth Seton. Shout out to them for hosting that wonderful conference. But a lot of people were sharing that they have so much grief and guilt and are scared to move their loved ones into a senior community or to memory care because they feel like they're doing the right thing. They feel like they're doing the wrong thing.
By keeping them with them as long as they can.
Yes, well,
It's
that's
the right thing for
right,
them.
right.
They feel like
That's what
that's the
they
right
feel.
thing. You need to stay with us, and not being able to do that, to move forward. It's
Okay.
a hard decision. It is a hard decision to do.
So it's the stuff like they're not getting their medication on a regular basis, or they're not treating wounds like they should, or they're not getting laundry done. By the way, side note, Terry is deep into this hot robot that folds your laundry, but
It's real.
it's a different
We
conversation.
can buy it
I
in
guess.
March.
Available for you in March. So missing when they're wandering,
Right.
when they're starting a small kitchen fire. I mean, like the things
Yeah.
that happen. Okay,
Dangerous.
I'm in. By the way, I started a kitchen fire just over the weekend, last weekend.
Oh, did your heart stop?
I was too calm, actually.
Oh,
Were you?
Yeah, no. So my husband was in the living room. I was in the kitchen. I had an old school toaster, stand
Yep.
up kind of a toaster. I put in bagels. They had cinnamon sugar on them. They came that way. It caught on fire. I heard the shh, and I thought, there's water running on that counter, but there's no faucet. And I turned my head, and there was a flame, and I'm not exaggerating. It was like almost a foot tall. And I very calmly said, Jeff, we have a fire in the kitchen. And he said, huh? And I said, we have an electrical fire in the kitchen. And I unplugged it. And he said he turned the corner, and I was just carrying very calmly the unplugged toaster.
Still
over
on
to the
fire.
sink. Oh, yeah, flame shooting out the top
Still
of it.
even. Oh my
It
gosh.
burnt down.
It's terrifying.
But imagine now you throw in all these other things, and it's happening over and over and over again. I'm tracking now. Like, that is scary stuff. And it's anticipatory anxiety a
Right.
lot, right? Of
Right.
like, I know that this decision is coming. I'm grieving the moments that I will lose with that person or the opportunity I have to show up.
But I think it's sometimes it is the opposite though, because there was a gentleman at this conference who shared his story about when he had to move his mother into a senior community, and he really just wanted to let everybody know that it's really okay to make these decisions, and probably even better for your loved ones so they can get the care that they need. And the best thing that I thought he shared is that he had time to be a child again. He had time to actually share that relationship and not just be a caregiver
Right.
of this person.
Well, go back, last weekend, if you missed last weekend's show, we had the former Wisconsin Governor Schreiber on, and he was talking about a lot of those things too. And he was very blunt, and I liked it about like, don't be so egocentric to think that you can or should be the only person caring for your loved one. Ask for help, accept help. When it's time for long-term care or for someone to come into the home, accept it. I mean, how many times here at Joy's house do we hear, for those who might not know, we are caregiver programs and adult day services. And at our adult day, how many times, Noah, do we say it's like an alphabet, and we get somebody when they're at about Y in the alphabet? And if we could have just gotten them earlier, we could have been so helpful to the family as a unit, the caregiver, the loved one, everybody. But we put these decisions off for so long that sometimes it feels like it's a knee-jerk decision, even though we've been talking about it for 18 months.
I would be curious to know how hard it is for some whose parents don't want to go.
Yeah.
Whose parents or grandparents who are like, still have some ability. I've had family relations with people that are in family that had good days and bad days. And so the good days, they knew what was happening. And the bad days, they didn't. But the good days were, those were the battles of trying to say, we need to get you someplace else. And the battle was that mom, then you have family members that are like, you
Yeah.
know what, she seems fine. She's still okay.
It's making me tear because I'm going through this with somebody who is near and dear to me in
Yeah.
my life. And I was able to sit down as a family unit to say with the person in the room, it's time to be looking at some additional care. And here's why. I was really surprised at that moment. It was like a gift from God. Everybody was on the same page.
It's amazing.
But it has been a long time
Mhm.
in the making. But at that moment, we got there.
Yeah.
Well,
And, the person will not enjoy going where he is going.
Then that's when you start to feel so bad.
But
that you
all right,
made
now
that
listen,
decision, right?
this is what we say at Joy's house all the time. It is your job as the caregiver, once that collective decision has been made, right? It is your job to get your loved one here.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to suck. I mean, listen, I got a 6-year-old right now that I had not intended on being so dear in my life. And it is not easy getting up every day at 6:15 to get her ready and get her on the bus. We battle almost every morning. But it's my job to get her on that bus.
Yeah,
and
it
when she
is.
gets off at the end of the day, her smile is worth it. The thing she's learning is worth it. I hate the comparison between kids and older adults. And yet, it's real.
right.
right?
Yeah.
It's your job to get them here to Joy's house or wherever it is that you're going. Then let us work our magic,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, once that person leaves to the door, depending on where you are, it's the right place for them to be. And that staff, we are lucky here at Joy's House that we have an incredible guest relations staff to help all of our loved ones, whether they have dementia or another life-altering diagnosis. You're making the right decision.
And you being around every minute of every day doesn't do anybody any good. I know we're going to have to leave. We're almost done for the day, but I do want people to understand that. Like people who say, well, she's in the assisted living now or in memory care. I'm there for 4 to 5 hours a day. Why? Be there, give your love, live your life. That is the best gift that you can give to everybody at that time. All right. I know we got to go.
Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon and Associates, with 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience. Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Until next time, take good care of each other.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu. At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.